Every man is a place. His heart is a space. Can't erase when he smiles. Right in the sky. She fantasized. Dreams we come to ride and believe together. Ideal and vow of never. Our voices we ring forever. That's
Go lay down. Lay down. Come on, bro. Lay down. Thank you. Thank you. Insane. Yo, yo, yo. I'm on loud. Talking shit. Getting clicks. Day 6 of 30. I call this one Party Boys. We're going to find out soon. We're about to find out why. Am I even live right now? This is always happening to me. I don't like it. Let's check. Bro, you're gonna have to lay down or else you're gonna have to go. But you can't go. Let's see, are we on? Oh, we're on. All right, beautiful. Beautiful. One more time, let the children say. What's good, everyone? What's good, everyone? I am Mo’3Times, and you have, if you're looking at this, this is day 6 of 30 straight days of live streaming. Now, if you're a streamer yourself, if you're a content creator, you're like probably thinking like, this is not like such a tall feat to do. I do this in my sleep. True. But maybe you can harken back to when you first started out. It's hard to get these videos out. It's insanely difficult to produce a lot of content, especially the edited type content. But I find that it isn't as difficult as presenting edited content. You know, it's kind of easier to just hit that live button and go. But it's still brain racking and nerve wracking. Nevertheless, it's still all those things. All right, so what do I have for you this evening? Not much. We're going to keep it short. We're going to keep it sweet. I will be on the 24th. I will check in with you guys on the 25th. We're not stopping this 30 days of straight live streaming for anything. You know what I mean? And that's because I love doing this and I love all of you. Aww. And if you guys aren't in here yet, or you're coming in here, or you're starting it from the beginning, you're a little behind, let me welcome everybody from the illustrious Jump Out Gang.
Many people know them as the Jump Out Boys in their city.
We call them the Jump Out Gang because there are boys and girls. Men and women. So true. So true. So true. So true. He's up. It's taps, but he's up. I love it. At Thunlight is in here, number one with me, doing this time with me. I appreciate you, sir. All right, enough of the cash rules. How about a little bit of this?
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Oh, he approves this message. Ain't that some shit? Ain't that some shit? Party boys. Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. All right, the Pied Piper mask from R. Kelly, and the turned up pouty lips, the duck lips. That it's an AI generated image. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I cannot lie to you guys. I created this. You see this little thing right over here? It says AI because it's AI. It is. It surely is. It's AI. You approve this message, DJT?
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I know it's so late, but let me tell you, love, some of my my theories behind this. I'm just trying the different ways of getting on YouTube at different times. So I'm just trying different times during this 30 days, mixing it up, keeping the show lengths different. This one's going to be a quick one. I don't know why I hit that button, because you guys all know that this is my favorite. But listen to me real quick, because what I am about to describe comes from a civil court filing. What I am about to describe comes from a civil court filing, not criminal conviction. These are allegations, not findings of fact, and they were never tested at trial. But listen up. Back in 2016, a civil lawsuit was filed in federal court in New York by a woman using the pseudonym Jane Doe. Gotta go with the Jane Doe. Now, the lawsuit named Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein as defendants. All right? Now, let's talk about the nature of the claims. I'm going to take you through this. Now, the filing alleged that the sexual assaults, and we're saying it's sexual assaults because I think that that's something we can say instead of the R word, occurred during the summer of 1994. The parties hosted by, in 1994. And this happened at parties hosted by Epstein in Manhattan at this, I'll show you. I'll show you a picture of where this guy used to rest his head when this all went down. Let me toss it up. Here it is. 9 East 71st Street, New York, New York. This is the outside. Of the house. Love, when we were in New York, Pelotoning, we walked down the street late at night. It was pretty quiet in those streets. All right. So once again, summer of 1994, boom, parties are right here, hosted by Epstein in Manhattan. And according to the complaint, the plaintiff was 13 years old at the time.
You stupid.
I just
Yeah, that's the one.
It's just a baby.
Right. 13. 13 at the time. Now, at this point, I would be remiss that I must emphasize this is allegation status. And these claims are allegations made in a civil complaint. They were not criminal charges, and no court has ruled on their truth or falsity. Allegations against Trump. I'm going to try to carefully frame this, okay? Now, the lawsuit alleged that Donald Trump engaged in sexual misconduct with the plaintiff at Epstein-hosted gatherings. Trump has denied these allegations, and the case did not proceed to trial. Now, the allegations against Epstein goes as follows. They're basically the same complaint. Also alleged that Jeffrey Epstein sexually assaulted the plaintiff and used threats and coercion to keep her silent. Epstein never answered these allegations in court before the case was withdrawn. We all know out there, listen to me, we all know that there was a lot of help from law enforcement, the Department of Justice, and the United States government to keep Jeffrey Epstein out of jail. We do know these things. Now, let's go to some witness statements. I'm going to kind of try to keep this framed safely. All right? Now, the filing included sworn declarations from individuals who said they had knowledge of events or disclosures related to these allegations. These statements were not cross-examined. I have to tell you, these statements were not cross-examined, and they were never evaluated by a jury, but this is a part of information that has come from the Epstein file dump on the DOJ. If you go on social media right now, you'd be hard-pressed, and maybe it's just because of my algorithm, but I would think anybody with if you got a damn Hello Kitty type of algorithm, if you don't do anything but watch anime and baking shows on Instagram, TikTok, or whatever social media, you would be still hard-pressed not to scroll down 1-2 scrolls and see news about some new information popping up in this recent DOJ Epstein file dump, okay? Now, here's the outcome of the case. The lawsuit was voluntarily dismissed later in 2016. There was no settlement, there was no trial, and there was no judicial finding on the merits of the claim. Context is very important. To be clear, a filing is not proof, an allegation is not a verdict, and a dismissal is not a determination of innocence or guilt. The reason this filing still comes up today is because it exists in the public record and intersects with a broader, well-documented reporting about Jeffrey Epstein. And viewers, I would advise that you distinguish between what is alleged, what is proven, and what remains unanswered. And this is for anybody putting out any of these files from the DOJ dump, because we know, we have seen the Trump administration go after anybody for defamation. And this MFer doesn't just go to get a little lawsuit, he goes to cripple you.
It's just a baby.
I know.
You're literally acting like an op.
Exactly. All right. So that's right. No filing alleges, no court ruled on, and the defendant has denied. And these claims were never adjudicated, and this was a civil matter, not a criminal one. Ladies and gentlemen, yo, tomorrow's Wednesday, and you know what we do on Wednesdays? We have the We live show, right? And that goes down at 7:30 p.m. We also have a live call-in line that we rock out with, and you will see the Jump Out Gang in the chat on the lines at full force.
Many people know them as the Jump Out Boys in their city.
So once again, talking shit, getting clicks. Check us out Wednesdays live, all right? I just had to throw that plug in there. Oh, I got another plug while we're in there. Let me tell you something. Yo, one of my childhood friends has decided to get into this potting, and I was like, yo, he's one of the dopest human beings I've ever came across. Really good guy. He loves the fight game, specifically boxing, and he has a new channel with his cohort where they talk boxing. Hearing this guy talk about making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich is entertaining. When you hear him talk about boxing with his friend Santiago, you will know that they are the real deal. Listen, I'm at a random point. I can drag this cursor anywhere. I will stop right here. I will hit play. There's going to be something nice. I mean,
straight hair in a ponytail? What you said? Trying to figure it out, bro.
Yo, first of all, chat or fucking audience out there, I'm 12% black. So
Shit,
chill out
12.
with that bullshit.
No, I'm just trying to figure out where you go.
he said he's 12% black out there, guys. Shout out to the 12%er. All right. We're gonna just pause our applause because we can do this all night. As you can see, they got some little drinks in their hand, and they are both anime. Listen to me. I watch these guys go back and forth for damn near 40 minutes, entertaining from beginning to end. Around the 7-minute mark, Jamal, who's wearing the AJ Brown jersey, he goes to his co-host like, hey, we can curse on here, right? Because you heard him cursing. And he's like, yeah. And from there, it goes from like an 8.5 on up to a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. So check them out. Gotta support, throw a plug. It's Sant and Mall. They're on YouTube. 2 videos, 81 subscribers, and they're killing the game. All right? Check them out. I'll throw the link in the chat. You guys save it. You guys must save that. Yeah. One more yay. Sant and Mall. They were arguing boxing. There was like some boxing history in there, different techniques. There was a Sugar Ray Robinson conversation going on all under. It was crazy, but crazy in a good way. Check them out. And where am I here? Give me a second. Hold your horses. I'm gonna throw it in the chat right here. Bing. Ramid was good, cuzzo. Yep. So check that out. Give them a like, share, subscribe, support. Trying to build things here. Main lines in the building. I see you. I'm on late. Yeah. Hopefully we can get them on do a Zoom, and they might need a referee to talk their talk. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, day 6 of 30. We just talked about these here party boys here. And remember, this image you're looking at has been AI generated. And it's not just for clarification. It's just to let you know that my art skills are truly top notch, especially with ChatGPT. I'm just saying. All right, bring my chat up. Let's make the chat bigger. What's going on, guys? How you guys doing out there? It is Christmas Eve. How's everybody doing? I gotta get up with my guys tomorrow and have some brown liqueur with my bros. 'Cause they keep me on my toes. I'm a rapper. Insane. insane. So anybody got any special plans? Anybody going to dinner anywhere? Anybody taking it down and chilling? Anybody going on vacation? Are you guys eloping for Christmas? That's understandable. Get out, get yourself some nice warm weather. We had a little sleety rain today, a little sleety rain, if you will. My man said he's good. You good? Hi. We did. What did we do? What did we do? All right. I don't want to go crazy into this, but we've been talking about it, so I'll go on there for just a second. Just give me a regard me. Regard me for just a little bit. I'll take my face off of here. All right. So check this out. There was an article from the AP that spoke about the show 60 Minutes showing a segment on CECOT prison. CECOT prison. The prison that is right here. Now, this is the prison where during the beginning and still going on, Donald Trump and the ICE agents decided to kidnap some American citizens and some legal residents of the United States. They're the guys that they were gang members, Trin de Agua to be precise, and they basically kidnapped these guys, forced them on cuffs, forced them onto planes, and shipped them out to El Salvador. Now, I should remind you guys, I talked to someone from El Salvador, and they said you do not have to say El Salvador, you could just say Salvador. All right, so they took these guys at CECOT. I remember in a previous show, I showed some overhead footage and images of that facility, and it looked like out back that there was what looked like a decomposing mound of human beings in the back of their facility. They say a lot of people that if you go in there, you do not go out of there, you do not leave. Luckily, Abrego Garcia was released from CECOT and came back to the United States, and he faced a lot of legal issues that was aimed at him from the Trump administration, but he got home and he got free. All right, now talking about CECOT, there was a report that laid out how the Trump administration used the Alien Enemies Act to deport the men shown in a video to El Salvador's CECOT prison, right? Now, this all happened without due process. This is something that we've spoken about before. The Alien Enemies Act is a over 100-year-old act to basically imprison enemy combatants. So it was kind of used against the Japanese in World War II, where the Japanese were put into internment camps. Alien Enemies Act was used then. We knew as a country that it was wrong, and yet here we go again, repeating history or going around this bend in a similar fashion. Now, Sharon Alfonsi reports, and I'll show you Sharon, she's a journalist right here. She reported that the passengers believed they were being deported to Venezuela. Instead, when a plane landed, Salvadoran police were waiting for them on the tarmac. Now, this is basically what you would call the opposite of due process, because you cannot challenge a removal. You're also not allowed to seek reconsideration, and you can't assert your rights. So if you are never told what's about to happen to you, it just leaves you without any type of rights or due process, which is all human beings deserve. Next, the segment included interviews with the detainees. Now, the reason why I'm explaining this this segment of of 60 Minutes to you is because it has been scrubbed from the internet. I remember when we did the show before, I was looking at it and I thought I had saved it. I wish I would copy it to my OBS, but I just saved the link, and when I tried to go to the link, it just spins. So I went to the Reddit next, because that's always a good source to get some stuff that you're not supposed to get from the normal Al Gore's internet, and everything there was spinning. People were making comments earlier, I guess, because they were able to see it, but by the time I got there, probably about 4 hours after it was posted, that thing was spinning. All right, now the reason why it got out is because I think CBS does 60 Minutes. Let me make sure. Yeah, CBS does do 60 Minutes, and they have affiliates in other countries that have access to their shows, things like that. One of the countries being Canada, and Canada allowed that CECOT prison story to run. People grabbed it, and then they saved it and tried to redistribute it on the internet. But let me tell you how big this is. The big deal is that you can't find it scrubbed. You can now no longer get it from any of the Canadian sites, and that is really concerning to me. All right, but to keep it to get more real here, the segment included interviews with detainees. They described the treatment inside the facility. They detailed conditions that raise serious human rights concerns. Now that matters because the administration and the defense has been consistent. I mean, once men were transferred to CECOT, the United States no longer had custody. Therefore, the U.S. claims it cannot be held responsible for how they were treated, nor could it bring them back. I remember going into this and talking about the recent findings by James Boasberg, the judge who ruled that the United States maintained constructive custody of the deportees while they were imprisoned in El Salvador. He was one of the judges yelling to the Trump administration to bring back Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And basically, that finding undercutted the administration's entire legal position, which was on frail legs. But I mean, never mind. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway, it also shows that El Salvadorian President Nayib Bukele, Nayib Bukele. Why am I printing? I don't want to print. I just want to show you guys a pic. That's all. You guys remember this guy, Bukele, right? Right. So basically, the report said that there was a deal between Bukele's government and the Trump administration, and the agreement the U.S. has to refuse to release despite State Department rules being disclosed. That agreement is now a legal contention point. If it shows the U.S. retained authority or control, it further supports the argument that the United States maintained constructive custody, making the claim that detainees could not be returned legally indefensible, including the case of Kilmar Abrego. Another thing is that the segment showed U.S. agents determined to affiliate everybody with Trinidad Aragua. I mean, the document relied heavily on tattoos as indicators of gang membership. Remember the MS-13 knuckles? That's not Trinidad Aragua. But the experts say Trinidad Aragua does not use tattoos to even signal affiliation. So after that, there were direct calls into question where detainees were accurately identified, which we know they weren't, because we know this Trump administration is sloppy as F. We also know, and going back on being sloppy, with this new drop from the Department of Justice of the Epstein files onto the world, we have found that a lot of the documents were heavily redacted, and we're talking about documents that weren't redacted in the same way when all of this first started. So they went back and just heavily redacted stuff, just throwing on black markers for everything. There is a person, once they did drop it, that found out that the Department of Justice did not adequately, let me bring myself up. the Department of Justice did not adequately redact information on those documents, which means they dropped a lot of these documents in PDF form and just basically did a highlighter and shows the black. People just went back on there, highlighted everything, and chose a different font color. So you can absolutely positively see that those documents were not treated with the care that they deserved and the care that is called on for them to fulfill their responsibilities as employees of the United States government. Not only that, this whole thing, the GOP was saying, and I don't want to be, Republican, Democrat, but the GOP was saying, I know this. They were saying it clearly, like, hey, we don't want to release these documents. There's a lot of victims involved. We don't want to bring pain back onto them. We don't want them to be identified by this release of documents. These guys had a shitload of time and enough personnel to do the job right, and they still didn't do it. They redacted documents that didn't need to be redacted, and they did not take care of those victims in a lot of those documents, as the names that were redacted were unredacted. People who were going under the names Jane Doe and whatever, and just trying to be incognito were outed by the piss poor handling of these Epstein files from this current administration. All right. Now, back in March, you remember Kristi Noem went over to CECOT. She filmed some type of promotional style video in another section of that facility, and claiming that men behind her were those deported by Donald Trump. So basically, there's a criticism of... Where's my CECOT? Where's my CECOT picture? Yeah, let's bring that back over there. All right. So, there is a lot of criticism, and you may hear this name in the days to come, of one Barry Weiss. All right? They claimed, and she's claimed that the government has not given an opportunity to respond, but the full segment shows otherwise. The Department of Homeland Security declined an interview and explicitly referred 60 Minutes to the government of El Salvador. And that is not exclusion, and that is definitely a response. So the argument that the story lacked balance collapses under this basic amount of scrutiny. And for what could reasonably probably be called editorial reporting, indicates that Weiss objected to the use of the terms migrants instead of illegal immigrants. Listen to me. Barry Weiss the reporting indicated that Barry Weiss objected to the use of the terms migrants. She said, no, you're going to call them illegal immigrants. I don't care what they're whatever. When you write here and you write that script for 60 Minutes, you better call them illegal aliens. That's crazy. Now, you could disagree with that language choice. I mean, that is a legitimate editorial debate if you want to go there. And I am definitely disagreeing with that language choice. But also, when you go out and you kill an entire legally vetted segment over a smidge of terminology, I mean, well, damn. If you do that and don't address the substance, it only makes sense if people conclude that the motivation for all of this is political and simply not editorial, because we know that these people make up half-ass excuses anyway. They're not cheering for half-ass excuses, right? That's half-ass excuses. They're cheering because I'm not fucking around. I'm telling y'all the truth. Got one more word for you guys, and then we're out of here. Keep my promises. Talking shit, getting clicks. You're with Mo 3Times. And you know, show number 6, day 6 of 30. Party Boys is the title. Rock with me, rock with me, rock with me. Should I do with the grass, the dewy grass right here? Should I come in here to the chat? Let's just keep it real, like the old school way. Listen, I am going to wrap up now. If you guys have been there before this last segment, I want to say, first of all, I appreciate everybody for reviewing and coming out. I know everybody here in the chat has hit their alerts just like I've requested. I appreciate that. But I need you guys to do me one more solid. Tell a friend to tell a friend. We got to get these subscribers going. Also, don't forget to hit like, share, and see if you can pull in some subscribers so we can add more to the Jump Out Gang of We episodes for Wednesday, right? All right. So usually these things come out of having conversations with people and basically totally disagreeing with them. I think I was having an argument on Threads, and somebody was talking about blah blah blah. You can't be emotional over politics. I wasn't being emotional, you guys. You know that I do get hype. It's just like my personality. But I'm not yelling. I'm not being whiny or crying. But sometimes I'm just like I'm incredulous at that. I gotta explain this stupidity or break this down. Like, and sometimes people go, whatever. That's kind of like my job to do here as a content creator, talking shit, getting clicks. But like that whole emotional thing kind of got me, and I was thinking about it, and I just had to pose the question, like, politics shouldn't be emotional? Like politics should not be emotional? Like, that's the line? That's the one. That line is basically the one people drop when they want to shut down a room and feel superior while doing it. And it sounds reasonable because, you know, you got to be calm. You get to be adult. You get to be neutral. But to me, if you ask me, I'm going to tell you it's also nonsense. And I'm going to tell you why. I think politics is an applied power. Like, there's power over bodies. You got power over money. You got power over borders, over who eats, over who sleeps indoors. You have power over who gets medicine, who gets buried with a flag, and who gets a case number, you know? So I have to be like, if politics weren't emotional, nobody would be fighting over it. If politics weren't emotional, people wouldn't cry when laws change. If politics weren't emotional, nobody would need riot gear. You wouldn't need campaign ads, right, buddy? You wouldn't need national anthems. You wouldn't need national anthems played at football games. You wouldn't need national anthems played at funerals. Like, the people who say politics shouldn't be emotional, to me, sit down, go lay down. Lay down. I'm going to zap you. What was I saying? The people who usually say that politics that politics shouldn't be emotional, they usually mean one thing. I've noticed that they're like, my life is not at risk, and so please, you know, discuss this calmly. Mo'3Times. Discuss this calmly because my life is not at risk and I couldn't care less. But I think the emotional only becomes a problem when it's coming from people who actually feel the consequences I'm using right now. I mean, can you imagine telling a mother whose kid got deported that politics shouldn't be emotional? Try telling a veteran denied care and that politics shouldn't be emotional? How about we try telling someone priced out of housing or health care or their dignity that this is all just an academic debate? It's business, nothing personal. Politics kind of decides who gets protected. They get to decide in a political way who is also expendable. So I don't think you don't get to demand emotional detachment from people who are absolutely in that situation. And to be clear, emotion is not the opposite of logic. And I think that's what many people believe when they say that. Once again, it is my assertion that emotion is not the opposite of logic. But I'll tell you what is. Apathy. Apathy is definitely. So I'm going to tell you one other thing. Every major political shift in history, every major political shift in history came from emotion first. It was an anger out of an injustice. It was, I'm angry that my little brown kids get hit at this cross section, so I would like to put a stoplight there. Next thing you know, we're marching, wearing leather jackets and berets, and we're feeding kids school breakfast programs and school lunches. That started with emotion. Yeah. Every political shift in history, it came from either angry at the injustice, right? It was because people feared losing. People felt losing their country. People had hope. Maybe around 2008, people had hope for something better. Or they were just enraged at being lied to. A lot of times, it's grief turned into action. People run for political office out of grief to turn their grief into action. And if you ask me, no, I've never heard anybody say this. I've never heard anyone say, you know what? You know what calmly fixed this? A spreadsheet. Terrible joke. But what's crazy is that, like, even the people preaching emotional restraint are emotional their damn selves. They just don't call it that. They call it, I'm concerned about the economy. They call it national security. That's a big one. That when you hear national security, your ears should perk up, should get goosebumps, your nipples should get hard enough to cut glass. If you hear, this is about national security, rap it. It's a rap. Or how about you heard protecting values or preserving order? Yo, that is fear dressed up in a flannel. But I'm going to say the quiet part that they don't say out loud. Emotion threatens systems that rely on our compliance. If people feel too much, if they ask too many questions, if they stop accepting the slogans, if they stop accepting all of those slogans and stop asking all of those questions, power has to explain itself. So, no, politics should not be irrational, but emotion is that canary in the coal mine. Emotion is like a smoke alarm because it gets to tell people not to feel. If you're out there telling people not to feel, if you're out there telling people not to feel while policy rearranges their lives, that's like telling someone not to yell when their house is on fire or someone's trying to attack them. So when someone says politics shouldn't be emotional, hear it correctly. They're actually saying, please don't remind me this affects real people. And if politics ever stops making people emotional, that won't mean that we're some type of matured civilization. That shit means that we have gone numb. I'm Mo’3Times. I do a show called We Live on Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. You might want to join me. Talkn S Getn Clicks. I appreciate all of the views. I appreciate your eyes and ears on this one. And I will see you tomorrow for day 7. Christmas Eve. I appreciate everybody for coming out. Thanks.
Dreams, you could do my way.